All right, guys, welcome to the podcast of JP's Real Talk. Thank you for tuning in. We are in episode 3. But you guys already know, right next to me is a very good-looking dude. He does not work for Calvin Klein, but at the same time, he is very unique individual. Just the fact that, number one, he is in health and fitness, which is where most of my audience are at. But at the same time, he's vegan. And
100%.
And the craziest part is I knew this vegan movement was coming. We talked about this while we're lifting. But then I didn't know how fast it was going to come. But then when I met you, I was like, wow, it's here. Like, this lifestyle is going to stay. It's going to stick. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that initially vegan, plant-based fitness was just kind of unheard of, at least in the fitness world, right? So nowadays,
Why?
Just because it's been taboo, right? So
why?
Tell me what you think whenever you first heard the word vegan. I mean,
I'm not going to get enough protein to build muscle.
Exactly. That's
100%.
number one. The
Yes.
second one is that vegans look like tree-hugging hippies, right?
Yeah, yes.
That was another one. There's this stigma around where, people didn't believe that it was never proven. Like, there wasn't any bodybuilders out there that were doing vegan fitness or promoting fitness from a plant-based nutrition aspect, right? Because one, nobody wanted to try it because they thought they would lose all their gains.
Yep.
And two, nobody wanted to give up their meat, fish and dairy.
Because there's so much flavor.
Well, flavor and macronutrient requirements too. So the protein.
Keep going. Yeah, don't. Sorry,
Okay, yeah. So that's primarily why people never really gave it a shot. But nowadays, people, especially companies, are catching on. They're seeing that more people are generating interest in it because as a society, we're becoming more health conscious. And one of the aspects of health is, it starts from within. It always starts from within. So if you can get your internal health right, what is the optimal diet for that? And, there's a lot of studies out there that show plant-based nutrition to be one of the most optimal diets if done correctly. The problem is there's not enough education out there for it. So what I do is I use my platform as a bodybuilder to just show the world what's possible and show the world what you can do on a plant-based diet, because most people don't think it's even possible to live without eating meat. So not only am I living, but I'm proving people that you can build mass, you can compete as a professional bodybuilder, not only, against other pros, but against some of the top pros in the country, at the IFBB level, which is the most prestigious league around at this point in time. You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to show people what you can do. Not everybody wants to be a bodybuilder. Not everybody that's vegan wants to become a bodybuilder. But as long as they know that you can take it to that limit, then it's going to open up a lot more people to being open to trying it, and that's what I want to try and do. And not only from the health perspective, from the environmental, the ethical point of view, there's so many benefits to it that everybody can get on board with, but I don't really touch on those topics too much, just because
it's very sensitive.
It's a very sensitive topic, right?
Yes.
So the moment you start talking about a couple of things: religion, ethics, politics, all of these things. People get very kind of defensive.
Oh yeah, the show goes
I'm
up.
right, you're wrong.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The show goes up no matter what I tell you, even
Yep.
if it's 100% factual.
Yep.
You'll be like, nah,
Yep.
nah, you're wrong.
Yep.
And then you'll get aggressive. I've had these conversations so many times where I'm like, you know what? I don't care what your viewpoint is on things. The only thing I want to do is help you get healthier.
Yep.
Everybody can get on board with that.
Yes.
Everybody can get on board with feeling good, looking good, performing better in the gym. So I just want the world to feel how I feel and just at least try it. And it can make a big difference overall. It's a domino effect. If one person tries it just for one day, maybe it turns into a week, a month, whatever. Even if you
back
don't.
to the friend, how good they feel.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I just want people to try it. Like, I don't convince them after that. After they try it, if they do it correctly, they come back to me like 2 weeks later and they're like, man, I can't tell you how good I feel. Like, just in general, like, not just in the gym, outside of the gym, even like my mental clarity has increased by like tenfold because I'm just thinking clearer. I'm not tired. I just I have all this energy about myself, and it just speaks for itself. The results speak for themselves.
No, the craziest part is I noticed the trend start transitioning is YouTuber. One of my YouTuber I do follow is Michelle Keir. I think I said her last name right. She does like weekly challenges, and on that one weekly challenges, she was a vegan.
Oh, nice.
For a whole week, she
Yeah.
had to go to vegan supermarkets.
Yeah.
She had to cook her own vegan. She went to vegan restaurants.
Yeah.
And then at the end of that week, she goes, guys, my skin has never been this clear.
Yeah.
I've never I never knew I could get all the, and she's very active. She does a lot of stunts too. I never knew my energy level could be this high. But once you convert the couple of days, it drops dramatically.
Yeah.
But then it's stabilized right after.
Yeah, there's like a transition period to anything because
Yes.
like, just like I tell people all the time, you wouldn't build a house without blueprints.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So if you're going to change your lifestyle and your daily eating habits, you have to have a plan first. Because if not, you're going to be left with your hands up in the air
Yes.
saying that, you know, this vegan diet is bullshit, basically, because it's not working for me. But it's not the vegan diet, it's your vegan diet. Right? And if you're not doing it correctly, if you're eating nothing but salads all day and expecting to build gains or expecting to feel good or energized and full and satiated, it's not going to happen. So the first thing you have to do is do your research, right? Come to people like me
Yes.
who has been doing it for a lifetime. You know, this is one thing we haven't mentioned is like I've never eaten meat in my life.
That's what we're about to dig right now.
Okay, yeah.
We're gonna dig so deep right now.
So I was born and raised vegetarian. So the argument that people always come to me and say like, oh, but you've built your physique on meat and then transition to a vegan diet and now you're just maintaining.
Which does happen very often too.
Exactly.
Mike Rashid is doing it right now.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, I talked to Mike Rashid at the Olympia, and he's not 100% plant-based right now, but he's like 90% there, right? And he was telling me how good he feels, and it's the same thing. You know, there's not many people out there that have never eaten something, so I'm kind of like the control group, right? So you have the guys that they ate meat their entire life, and then they switched over to a plant-based diet, and then they measure their results from there, from that point on, right? But they've already built up a certain type of physique, and then now they're just kind of maintaining it and keeping it at that level, you know, not really growing or shrinking, you know? So it's showing that that's possible. But there's not many people out there that have built their entire physique strictly with plants, right? So I feel, you know, I feel like kind of a unique.
No, you're a unicorn. You're
basically
very unicorn.
the unicorn for the movement because
Yes.
like I kind of negate that argument.
Yes.
So that's why I'm proud when I say it. Like, yeah, I've never eaten meat.
Yeah.
So like, what's your next excuse? Like, people have so many excuses for everything in life, and you know, trying to give up meat is one of those excuses. Like, oh, I could never do it because I'd lose all my gains.
Yes.
It's like you need they have this like kind of conception where meat equals
Gains.
Yeah. Right. But that's not the truth.
It's like the most bro science thing in the world.
It is.
It's like
It
saying,
is.
remember we talked about the NFL player that's a vegan NFL.
Yeah.
So you saying you're a vegan, you can't play NFL.
Yeah.
And he throws that concept into the trash that you can. You just got to eat so much more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like that's a bad thing though.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
Come on, guys.
Yeah, like the foods that we eat are a lot less calorically dense.
Yes.
But they're much more nutritionally dense.
Yes.
Right? So that's where the energy portion comes in. That's where the recovery time comes in, is because you're flooding your body with all of these, you know, micronutrient rich foods to where, you know, everything else that's going on in your body, you know, from a hormonal perspective and just a recovery standpoint, they're just like, it has all the resources necessary, whereas some of the more, you know, the animal proteins, they lack those resources. They lack the micronutrients that you need to recover much faster. So that's why people, you know, after they transition for a little bit, they're like, man, I just feel better overall. I feel like I recover a little bit quicker. And that's, I mean, the results speak for themselves when it comes to that.
But ready to dive? I'm gonna dive.
Let's do it.
Ready
Let's
for
dive
this?
into it, yeah.
I have two key notes right here. I
right.
always take notes. Just the fact that these questions I have for you, the audience is gonna have questions too.
Yeah.
So hopefully I'm helping you guys out by asking the right questions. So a very, very broad question, but I am so curious is, what was baby Nimai like? Like, you're gonna pull back to, so we're gonna pull back to Nimai let me see. Let's say we pull back to Nimai at 10.
Yeah.
We're going to pull Nimai in intermediate school.
Yeah.
We're going to pull Nimai into high school. And then we're going to pull Nimai into college.
All right.
And so that's how and then for on top of that, for the second after I'm going to transition to is, why did you pick bodybuilding as a platform too?
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm giving you a prelude of what we're going to go through.
And I think it's great because it paints an entire picture. Like,
Yes.
I only kind of just came on the scene,
Yep.
right, the last few years.
Yep.
So a lot of people don't know why I am the way I am or where I come from.
It's nice that we're building context.
Yeah.
We're building context.
Yeah, so
Guys, hold on. We got to take a commercial break. It's going to be like an awkward beep that Randy doesn't know how to do anything better right now. But he'll get there, guys. Thank you for tuning in. All right, guys. We're back. I don't have to recap anything. So we're going to dive.
All right, let's dive.
So, baby Nimai. So give us some context. So where were you born? Family of how many kids? Go for it.
Yeah, so my story is a little bit unique.
Okay.
Like you said, I'm a unicorn.
Yes.
So I'm like a very unique unicorn at that. So I'm like the I don't know, the less than 1% of 1%, right?
Yeah.
So both of my parents were born and raised in Argentina.
Okay.
So they're from Buenos Aires, Argentina, and they had, my sister in Argentina, my brother in Brazil, and actually let me backtrack a little bit further than that. So they were both raised Catholic, right, in Argentina.
Okay.
Somewhere in their mid-20s, early 30s, they converted from Catholicism into Hinduism.
Oh, wow.
Right? So it was kind of being westernized at that time. And my mom, who was already vegetarian because she actually was, Argentina is like well known for their beef.
Yes.
And their meat and their steak. That's
Great
like,
cattle.
Exactly. That's their bread and butter. That's what they're known for, right? So of course, both of my parents grew up on that type of diet. Well, my mom happened to be dating this guy who owned like a cattle ranch and witnessed one of the animals getting slaughtered. So she heard I think it was a pig. She heard the squeals of the pig and everything like that.
Such a bad skew.
And it just scarred her.
Yeah.
And immediately from that point on in her life, she was like, I'm never gonna eat another animal in my life because they go through all this suffering and everything, and just for me to eat it, right? So she switched over. She was already vegetarian. Then she found Hinduism, and she resonated with a lot of the beliefs in the Hindu system. And so that's how she met my dad, and that was all in Argentina. Had my sister there, then moved to Brazil, had my brother, and they're very humble people. They didn't have much. They gave up all their materialistic things to basically serve God, right? And in that process, they were kind of living in temples. They went from a temple in Argentina to a temple in Brazil. They were trying to be like taxi drivers, just doing kind of like, one-off contracts to
just to
get some
by.
money. Yeah, just to get by. Yeah. My parents are really humble people. And at one point in time, they decided that, they wanted to give their kids a better opportunity, and what better country to do that than to move to the United States. So their spiritual guru, actually told them about an opportunity in the United States, in Miami. So my dad went to Miami, worked as a taxi driver to get enough money to send back to my mom for a plane ticket to come to Miami, a one-way ticket. And here they come, they arrive at the United States with, my mom had 2 kids, my dad was already there, and they might have had like maybe $100, $200 to their name.
So like brothers and sisters?
Yeah, my brother, my older brother, my older sister, right?
Older brother, older sister.
Yeah, so they arrive in Miami. Miami was crazy in the late 80s, cocaine cowboys and, all the drug wars that were going on. So they're like, this isn't for us, let's keep going. So we ended up going to New Orleans. And in New Orleans,
which is pretty hood too.
Oh yeah, but they got a temple. But they got a temple in New Orleans, so they were like, okay, just going from temple to temple, right? Okay. So New Orleans, their first day in New Orleans, they get their car stolen.
But that's New Orleans though. That's how.
Oh yeah, that's New Orleans. Yeah, they're lucky they didn't get killed, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, so some of the people from the temple decided they could help him out, so they gave him a car.
Wow.
And they told him about another temple in Mississippi. And this temple in Mississippi, they could actually live at a house. They were going to give them a house rent-free as long as they, did their duties in the temple and just like served God and just, just like kept everything, the whole system running.
Yes.
So that's where I was born. I was born in South Mississippi, in the middle of like nowhere. Basically it was like a self-sustaining community. They had a little cow farm. They had a temple. They had a garden where they grew the food. They milked the cows. They had these feasts where they would cook all the food from the garden and serve it to everybody in the community, and then like praise God and do everything else. And that's where I grew up. I grew up in the traditional Hindu clothing, Indian clothing. I had like the tilak on my forehead. I had like the robes and everything until I was like, I don't know, 5 years old.
5 years, that would be like elementary school, like
basically kindergarten.
Yeah,
basically until kindergarten. Right?
Okay.
So I even went to kindergarten with all like my mom and dad are big as hippies anyway. They're like, yeah, you'll be fine. Just like let's send this kid to kindergarten in all these like traditional Indian clothing, and just try to assimilate him into Southern Baptist culture in Mississippi, like he'll be fine.
Get bashed on.
He'll be fine.
Yeah,
right?
Be fine, right?
So slightly like
that's pretty bad.
Yeah,
that's pretty bad.
From my perspective, I was just like, I'm just normal.
No, but as a kid, you're like, okay, this is what I'm comfortable in.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna go.
I didn't know anything else.
Yes.
I didn't know anything else. Yes. So, then I was exposed to public school system and, all the other kids that grew up a totally different way than I did. I always had my lunch with me, never ate the school lunches. My mom would always pack my lunch for me. And
so she prepped all of your meals.
Oh, yeah.
So there was because you were in a controlled environment.
Very controlled.
Okay.
Yeah, the only time I was outside of that environment was when I would go to school and come back. But that brief exposure to the outside world was really eye-opening for me because, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know which was normal and which wasn't. Like, are they normal or am I normal? Kind of thing, right? So, of course, growing up in that kind of environment teaches you a lot.
Yes.
If you're different at a young age, people will expose that. Kids are mean. It's not that they're mean, they're just brutally honest. And they'll say what they want.
With ignorance. With lots and lots of ignorance.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. And, so I had to deal with a lot of criticism growing up from different kids.
Interesting.
And, I actually moved out of the temple environment when I was about 6 years old, and moved to like a more public community, like a more residential neighborhood, like I don't know how, like 45 minutes away, like on the coast of Mississippi. So then I kind of got way more assimilated into Southern culture and just like a regular normal lifestyle, right? And I kind of started distancing myself from like my upbringing because like I was being assimilated more into normal society.
You're transitioning as a real American.
Yeah, basically. Basically. I was starting a life outside of this life. And, just like anybody else, I wanted to fit in, so I just kind of like, I kind of didn't talk about myself at all afterwards because the conversations would get brought up and, there's a lot of, I wouldn't say ignorance, but just misunderstanding from people down south when they don't know about anything.
Yes.
So,
new religion. Kid,
anything different is evil. Yeah. Anything different is bad. Anything different is like, I don't know, it's just like ignorance to an extent because they don't understand, right?
Yes.
So I had to deal with that growing up, and then like I just had a pretty normal childhood after that. I was always kind of athletic. I skated for a long time.
Cool. So skater, nice. Rollerblade or skate?
I rollerbladed.
I never rollerbladed.
Oh man,
it looks painful.
I mean, everything's painful.
But skateboard, at least if you don't want to do this ramp, you don't got wheels on your feet.
Yeah, you can jump.
Yeah, you can jump off.
Yeah, you're committed when you're.
You're on rollerblades. That's it. Like you strap on, you stay.
Yeah, I think there's still some videos of a young Nimai on YouTube of me skating. That was like a big chapter in my life. I toured the country with like there was a company. I got sponsored. I had all these like different things at like 12 years old, and I like toured the country with like a company called B3. It was like bikes, boards, and blades. And we would tour the country and do these different like mobile skate parks. And do like exhibitions for like kids and everything. It was really cool.
Wait, so skating? How many years was that? Or when did you pick up?
I think I picked that up at like 11 or 12.
11 or 12.
And then I did it pretty much until the end of high school, and then like sporadically in college. Not much, just kind of focus on college or whatever. But
why skating? Was it the culture? Was it the friend? Did you connect to friends a lot better?
I kind of got thrown into it. Some day, a friend of mine asked me if I wanted to go to the skating rink. And I thought we were going to a skating rink, and we show up at this massive skate park, and my eyes just lit up, and I was like, it was all these ramps and like half pipes and everything, and I was like, this is awesome. So like I'm very quick to pick up on things when it comes to like athletics. So, like I'm really good at weird sports. Like skating's one of them. Like ping pong I'll destroy anybody in ping pong. Come at me, challenge me. Bowling is another one, dude. All these one-off like weird sports I'm really good at.
Yes.
Racquetball, another good one. Okay, anyway. So yeah, skating, it just kind of took over my life just because I fell in love with it. It was something I could do on my own. It wasn't necessarily a team sport. Like the amount of growth just depended on me and how good I wanted to get. So I really dove into it. Just like I do anything else, I've always kind of been that way. If I do something, I do it 100%, all or nothing, balls to the wall, because if not, then why am I doing it, right? I don't
do you think that was built in from the way your parents nurture you? Or was it something that was built in because you're like, you know what, I'm not a quitter?
I think this way. I just like being good at things, right? So I'm like a student of the game in everything that I do. I analyze. I have a very analytical brain. So I like to dissect everything and figure out why people are good at something, what makes them, what do they do that makes them good, right? So it's a application that I've tried to use throughout my whole life. Is if you see me standing next to somebody, I'm studying them. Because I can learn something from them. So it's like an important lesson for everybody out there that, if you want to be great, surround yourself with great, because everybody out there has something to teach you. You might not know it, but they do.
Yes.
So if you can surround yourself with the people that are already doing something great, that something that they can teach you is much more evident, right? So
the reason I bring this up because I have this conversation with often my friends who's like nurture over nature.
Yeah.
When you said like I always had that instinct of just observing and finding why that guy's better than me. I didn't notice I had that attribute until I did a lot of sports. Because let's say when we play tennis, 1-on-1, badminton, track and field, whatever it is, Like, people like bitch and whine about why they lost. I sit and I stay quiet. And I was like, why did I lose? And you kind of like play out that whole moment over and over again. You're like, I think I was just outplayed. Yeah. And then you go back to the training ground and you do it all over again.
And you use that.
That point, I think, is nature.
I think it is. I think it is. And I think part of it might be what you were referring to earlier, like my parents, you know, like I have an insane amount of gratitude for what they've sacrificed so that I could have opportunities, right? Yep. So I think it's kind of ingrained in me that, you know, any opportunity that I'm given, I need to capitalize on it, because not everybody is given those opportunities. My parents didn't have those opportunities, but I do. So I feel like a little bit of like indebted to them to succeed.
When did you start feeling like that? What age?
Early on.
Like what age?
I would say probably 6.
6?
Yeah, 6
or
7. Yeah.
Mine, 22. We'll touch base on that.
Yeah.
We're going to take a little break, guys. All right, guys, welcome back. We're going to dive in a little bit about gratitude.
Yeah.
Because you understood something where I preach about very often now. And one of my posts is gratitude equals happiness. And I guess for you, gratitude equals motivation too. So, and you knew about gratitude at 6.
Yeah.
Because as a kid, you're very selfish. It's me. As a kid, like if you talk about to any kid, it's like, what can I get out of my parents?
Yeah.
But you understood gratitude.
Yeah. Well, you know, as a kid, I was always very observant too. I was a really quiet kid. My grandpa used to call me the philosopher because I wouldn't talk. Like, I wouldn't cry. I wouldn't do anything. I was just like, I would be by myself. I was very independent.
Yes.
And anytime I spoke up, I would say something like profound, according to my grandpa. He would be like, did you really just say that? You know, like, did this little 6-year-old just say that? But, you know, I observed that, like, my parents were struggling.
Yes.
Right? And that's something, you know, money was always a topic of conversation growing up because there was a lack thereof.
Yeah.
So I saw the importance of having money. I saw the importance of, you know, how it affects the household, you know, from a kid's perspective and from a relationship from a parent's perspective too. So I was always very appreciative of everything that I had and knew that I never wanted money to be an issue for me growing up, you know, and that had a lot to do with the experiences I had growing up, you know, not having much, being very humble in everything that I had, and just never really complaining about it because I knew my parents were doing the best that they could to provide for me. So I always really appreciated it and tried to let them know that I appreciated everything that they did for me. So like I said, yeah, I would say that I learned that at a very early age and applied it throughout high school and even till this day.
So at 6, still Mississippi?
Yeah.
When did you move out of Mississippi?
I didn't move out of Mississippi until I was 23.
Whoa.
Yeah. No, sorry. I went from Mississippi and then I went to college in Louisiana in Baton Rouge.
Okay.
And then I graduated college in Baton Rouge and then moved to California. And then after graduation because I accepted a job out here.
Nice. All right. So real quick. So intermediate school, how was it? Still the same kid, still observant, but then you're like, all right, but at least I'm more self-aware. It seems like you understood your self-awareness early in your stage.
I had to. Yeah. I had to because, like I said, growing up in an environment where you're the oddball, you have to be secure with who you are. You have to know who you are, or else you're susceptible to be influenced by everybody else.
Yes.
And for me, I always knew I didn't belong in this environment. Like I felt like I was like a fish out of water compared to everybody else.
Yes.
And I kept it to myself. I didn't magnify that by like broadcasting that I was different. You know, I just kind of tried to blend in, observe, and do everything. And then, like I said, you have to know who you are, or else you're a moldable person at that age.
Yes.
You're molded by everything,
moldable.
Especially your friends.
Yes.
So I always tried to surround myself with friends that were doing something, and instead of the friends that got caught up in drugs, drinking all the time, I was trying to surround myself with athletes, the guys that were going places, just the kids that were smart. Like I was part of the nerdy class. I graduated top 3 in my class.
I was in Mesa.
Okay.
Yeah,
awesome.
no, because because you can't talk with a dumb person. You can't out talk a dumb person.
No,
because their logic doesn't make sense.
No, yeah, they pride themselves on
and
stupidity.
And they think they're right.
Yeah,
exactly. Those are the worst.
Yeah, so like I said, I always try to surround myself with the thinkers, the people that were doing stuff, the nerdy kids. Like that was my people. You know, I always got along with the other people too. I wouldn't consider myself a nerd in high school, but I definitely had nerd-like tendencies with everything I did. You know, I liked learning. I liked speaking up in class. I liked, you know, sharing my opinion on different things. That one just died?
Just go.
Okay, just go.
Okay. Yeah, so, you know, that had a big influence on what I decided to do.
You accepted your nerdiness. You're like,
yeah.
This is me.
Yeah, this
From
is
the
me.
get-go.
This is
Done.
me. And like people could talk crap about it. They could be like, "Oh, you're a nerd. You like studying. You do good. You do good and great. You like you get good grades." And I'm like, "All right, like that's a bad thing. You know, that's going to lead me to a good college. It's going to lead me to, you know, a good career afterwards." So, like I said, I used that mentality to get, you know, accepted to a good college. I went to LSU. I got my engineering degree there. So, still a little bit of living in a bubble though. Before even I went to LSU, LSU opened up my eyes to a little bit more people with open-mindedness, right? So
where there's personalities now.
A lot more personality, yeah.
Yes.
Mississippi was kind of a little bubble.
Yes.
And then Baton Rouge was a bigger city with a lot more to do, a lot more like-minded people like me. I think I didn't meet like another vegetarian until I might have met like 5 in Mississippi, but I met like 20 in Baton Rouge, you know, just by chance, just by like surrounding myself with people that think like me, talk like me, you know, and they just happen to be vegetarian, which I found that's a very like unique thing at that point in time.
Yeah, it's a rare breed.
Yeah, to find a vegetarian in South Mississippi or Louisiana, the home of like fried
food, fried
Cajun
everything.
food, fried everything, right? So
yeah,
you have to be okay with who you are first and find yourself first, or else you could be led down a path that isn't necessarily you. And I think a lot of people struggle to find who they are, and they don't find that until much later in life. So I was lucky to be okay with who I am, you know, accept who I am, where I come from, and be proud of it from an internal perspective.
Yes.
And then, you know, I didn't know this, but later on in life, it kind of led me to where I'm at now.
It was like meant to be.
Yeah.
But at the same time, this is where, like you just said it earlier too, it's like when you're younger, it's easier to be influenced by these external forces, aka your friends. Your friends are very influential.
Yeah.
At the same time, your parents, you get to an age where they become less of an influence, and now it's more internal. Now you're fighting your own demons.
Yeah, exactly.
So, was there a point where you're like, you know what? I should try something new.
As far as what?
I should take a pause of being a vegetarian and try something new.
No.
See, I want to know why that no though.
Yeah, people ask me this a lot. Actually.
Yeah,
people ask me
see,
this a lot because like I said, I never had meat.
Exactly.
Right? I've never had it.
Exactly.
For me, my parents made it clear. My parents are very good at explaining things.
Okay.
Right. So they
now it goes back to the nurture. So they
I would
nurture
say
you
so.
very
Yeah,
well too.
I would say so
yes.
because I learned at a very young age and understood at a very young age that, you know, another animal doesn't have to die for my convenience, right? So by eating other animals, I'm contributing to more suffering in the world.
Yes.
I'm contributing to death. And like, how can you have inner peace when you're contributing to all of these other things that are going on behind the scenes? Like, you might be ignorant to these things, and that's what a lot of people don't know about what's going on behind the scenes. And you just like end up with this burger or this piece of chicken on your plate, but you never really backtrack to think what had to happen for it to get there, right? And a lot of people, if they actually saw the series of events or the steps that happened to get there, they might have a different perspective on that thing that's on their plate in front of them. So I understood it from a very young age. So I never really had any desire to contribute to it. I'm not saying it doesn't taste good. I'm not saying, you know, it's not the best thing, you know, that people ever put in their mouth. You know, it's like, for me, I understood it probably tastes good because everybody rants and raves about it. You know, to me, I smell it and it doesn't smell bad, but I just have a conscious connection between what goes on, and I just choose not to contribute to it. The best way I can describe it is like, it's like if you're a faithful husband, right, and you're committed to your wife, and another really attractive, really beautiful woman walks next to you, you're not going to deny that she's beautiful and she's attractive.
Oh,
but
sure.
You're committed to something because of your values and your character as a man, so you're going to stay committed to that regardless of all the temptation that goes around outside of that, right?
That's the key words I was looking for: value and character.
Yeah, I mean,
there we go.
It's everything. Like, how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you're committed to something, like I said before, I go 100%.
Yes.
If I'm committed to it, I'm going to stick to it because that's just I'm I consider myself a man of my word.
Yes.
Right? And
Yes.
that's something I take to heart. So I try to find, like you said, I try to find people that have that same type of value, right? I think it's really important in life. Who you surround yourself with is an incredibly important lesson that gets overlooked.
Yeah. Well, the nuggets that I got out of this too, actually, for anybody, it is not just going to pertain to just being a vegetarian or a vegan, is value and character.
Mhm.
If you understand the value and character when you're being nurtured, it just stays. And for you, what keeps you going was gratitude and self-awareness.
Mhm.
Huge.
Definitely.
Huge. Like this is like the biggest takeaway for you guys right here. And the craziest part, you process all this information at such a young age with influence.
Mm-hmm.
Because people get to hear when they start meditating and dig into their own self.
Mhm.
You did this on the way.
Mhm.
Impressive. That's fucking impressive.
Thanks,
I have to
bud.
use fucking, because that's pretty fucking impressive. All right, so now you're a skater, but
Yeah.
skating you don't lift. Your
Nah.
skating is more athleticism, it's more cardiovascular. So we gotta take a break. Done. Live.
Good to go.
Cool. All right. Next, let's transition. So we're gonna fast forward really fast.
Yeah.
To you finishing college, you're an engineer. We got that. What kind of engineering work?
Mechanical engineering.
Mechanical. So very broad, most
Yeah.
spectrum. You fits into most facets.
Definitely.
So now, what sparked your interest in using bodybuilding as a platform?
Really, I tell people this all the time, that I never in my life intended to be a bodybuilder. If you would have told me, 3 years ago, even 3 years ago, that I would be a professional bodybuilder advocating veganism as a platform, I would have laughed in your face. Like, legit, I would have laughed in your face. It would have never crossed my mind. I would have been like, bullshit, you're not talking about me.
Ready?
Right?
Ready?
Yeah.
Who knew 3 years ago, 30-something months ago, that somebody, even a fortune teller, would be like, you're about to make your millions making clothes.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be like, wait, what? In health and fitness, I'll be like, wait, what?
Yeah, because you
Right?
came from a different background. You came from finance, right?
Finance,
Yeah.
like, what are you talking about? But that's the beautiful part of being in America.
Yeah. And I think it speaks to something else, because
Yes.
a lot of times we're told in life what to do,
Yes.
right? We're being influenced by all these people that think they know what's best for you better than you know what's best for you.
The blanket statement.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's true. It's like, go to college, get a job, get a career, work 40 years, retire, and then do the shit that you want to do later on in life,
Travel the world.
Yeah.
At 45.
They
Come
teach
on.
they teach these means goals instead of
Yes.
like the end goals, right?
Yes,
So it's like
yes.
you have to ask yourself, what's your end goal? Is it to help people? Is it to travel the world?
Mhm,
Like,
mhm.
what fulfills you from the inside out?
Okay.
And focus on like getting a direct path to that first, right? So, but it takes some learning, and a lot of people, like you and I, it takes a lot of time for that to really sink in, because most people don't know what they want to do.
Mm.
So most people are just kind of wandering through life, being nudged in these directions by other people that think they know what's best for them, right?
Yep,
But
yep.
deep down, we all have an intuition,
Yep.
and we all know what really makes us happy, what really drives us as an individual. And I think more people need to tap into that. So the universe had a way of setting things up for me to show that, to open that door for me, right? So when I accepted a job after college,
Yes.
I moved to California
Yep.
completely on my own.
Where in California?
Bakersfield, California.
Bakersfield.
Yeah, so
It's like,
I kind
it's
of
nowhere land.
it was nowhere. Yeah, I basically went from Mississippi to Mississippi in California. Like, I expected to come to California. There's like a
That
white
Cali life,
the
palm
white
trees,
beaches,
yeah.
the blonde girls everywhere. It
Yeah,
was just
yeah.
like, this is California.
Bikinis left
Yeah,
and right.
I
yeah.
came to California. I came to Bakersfield. It was desert. It was 115 degrees in June.
Yes.
It was like walking into a sauna, and then like on top of that, it's just like oil fields everywhere. So it's this is my life, and like it was a sober reality for me.
Yes.
After working there for like 3 months, I was like, okay, there's like a bit of a, I miss home, I miss my friends, everything. There was a bit of like some homesickness to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a lot of like life searching at that point too, where I was like, is this what I really want to do? I just spent, the better part of a decade working towards becoming an engineer, and now that I'm an engineer, am I going to do this for the rest of my life? Am I going to crunch numbers and submit reports and go to these meetings?
Make sure stuff doesn't blow up,
Yeah. And, don't get me wrong. It's an important job,
Yes.
and somebody needs to do it.
Yes.
But deep down, is it fulfilling me? And I don't think it was, because there was always kind of like a gap in myself.
Yes.
And kind of the only thing that made me feel better when I would come home after work was going to the gym, because that was something I loved to do. I think that working on yourself is the best project you could ever work on.
Yes.
And I preach to people all the time is that don't work 8-9 hours for a company trying to build up a company and then come home and forget to work on yourself. Because you owe that to yourself to grow as a person, just like you're giving your time to a company to grow the company.
Yes.
Right? So when I would come home, I would go to the gym. I would focus all my energy at the gym because I always made friends at the gym. I would stay there for a while.
So what got you started? I know falling in love with the weights and getting those newbie gains.
Yeah.
Remember the newbie gains?
Oh yeah, it was beautiful.
It was so
you
good.
work out for like 2 months, you gain 10 pounds.
It was
hell yeah.
such good newbie gains. But what was your I'm pretty sure you did some homework. What was your top 3 fitspiration?
For me, it was just to get in shape so I could get like a good-looking girlfriend.
There
I think everybody can relate to that at some point,
yes.
or like a breakup. Like I went through a breakup, in college that kind of was like I was out of the game. I was like basically dating someone in college the entire time.
Yes.
And then afterwards, I didn't know where to spend my time, so I was like, I'm not gonna spend it, just like drowning myself in alcohol. I'd rather spend it. Because that's not a very stable route to go down if you're going through a breakup. So it's like, I'd rather just go to the gym. They say, breakups build bodybuilders. So it's kind of happened all at the same time. So
I love breakups.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm going to come back huge and massive and 10-fold more successful.
There's always like a very steep learning curve or like a lot of personal growth after something like a breakup, right?
Yes.
So same thing for me. I went to the gym and
started... So the breakup that led to...
wanting to look better, to feel better, not only physically but mentally as well.
Yes.
Right? So it was kind of like my meditation. I would go to the gym, I would forget everything, I would just get lost in pumping weights and pumping iron and everything
and seeing results.
And seeing results. Yeah. You look good, you feel good. That translates into everything in your life.
Yes.
Having that mental clarity, opens up the door for everything in your life. And after a while, I started, seeing some gains, and I was like, well, how can I optimize this? How can I get better at lifting weights? How can I get results quicker? So I started researching about nutrition, and at this time I was still a vegetarian, but toying with the idea of going vegan, just because I started to see more and more videos online about some of the atrocities that are going on at like the dairy industry and all this other things, right?
Yeah. That was 2000 and what? Do you remember?
Must have been...
Because I remember the whole... Yeah.
I think it was 2014.
I remember it was a huge dairy issue.
Yeah.
Where they're like a cow...
I think it was late. It was late 2014 because
Yeah.
I went vegan somewhere like in January 2015.
It was the dairy issue. There was McDonald's issues. There was the fast food issue. Remember the fast food issue?
Oh, yeah,
Everyone's
like
getting slammed. There's the
E. coli,
Coca-Cola. Yeah, there's a
everything.
Coca-Cola. Oh, it was a bad year for just non-veganism.
Yeah, and I think at that time like Facebook videos were starting to get shared and more, and I just like kept coming across them because I was friends with all these people online. So it's like you can't avoid it. Like you watch one thing and you're like, you kind of get lost in the internet. You get like
and then,
sucked into this black hole, right?
Five videos later. You're like, damn, that was an hour.
Yeah.
Yes.
But the beautiful thing is like some of those things really help change your perspective on what you do and your daily habits, right? So that's kind of where I was too. And all kind of like a tornado of events happened to where I decided to go vegan.
Okay.
I decided to give up.
Whoa. You just did like a mega step.
Yeah.
Guys, you don't know how big the difference between vegetarian and veganism is.
Yeah. So let me clarify.
Huge clarity for the audience.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the way I was raised was lacto-vegetarian. That meant I did eat lactose-based products.
You
which
could
is
eat
like,
eggs.
I didn't eat eggs.
Oh, no, okay. But you could.
I could if I wanted to.
Yes.
Like there's a little gray area
Yes.
there, but I didn't do it.
Yes.
I did eat like egg products that were baked into things. Like a lot of products have like egg yolks in them or egg whites like baked into the ingredients list.
Could you eat butter?
Yeah, I could eat butter.
See, there we go. But butter is a byproduct of a cow, though.
It is.
See,
there's a lot of byproducts from milk in general.
Yes,
so you have yogurts, you have milk, you have whey protein. What are some of the other ones? I don't know. They have eggs.
Yeah.
People... Those are all still considered vegetarian.
Yes.
Right? So vegan, you don't eat anything that was derived from an animal product. So nothing derived from milk. So that excludes, that like basically excludes milk, cheese,
A lot of carbs.
yogurt, a lot of carbs and
Yeah.
fat
Yeah.
mainly, fat
Yeah.
and protein basically.
What-
So at that time, the only thing I was eating that was like animal-based products was I didn't really drink milk because it always upset my stomach.
Yes.
But I did eat a lot of cheese.
Yes.
I had whey protein shakes because I was
Yep.
working out, and
Yep.
that's just what you
Fastest
drink.
intake you could get.
Yeah. Yogurt. I was eating Greek yogurt. That was kind of part of my staple diet.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, there wasn't much that I was
Mhm.
eating. So I thought in my head, I kind of
Question?
Yeah.
Sir? I heard for vegan, I'm not sure if it's more on the extreme side, but you can't cook your food at certain temperatures too.
That's more from a nutrient profile point
Okay.
of view. So that's like a raw vegan.
Okay.
Raw vegans, they don't heat their food up to a certain temperature because
Okay.
it degrades the micronutrient profile after that.
Okay.
It kind of changes like the molecular structure somehow.
Yes.
So you don't absorb.
I didn't
as
know it
much
was a
protein.
rule, but actually it's
Yeah.
just a preference.
So then once you go into vegan, there's like different subcultures of veganism.
Let's call them
too.
levels.
Yeah.
There's
Okay.
levels
There's
of
different
vegan.
levels of vegan too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So
Hold on, guys. There's different levels of vegans. We gotta take a pause. So we're touching base on different levels of veganism.
yeah.
You're not much on the extreme side. You practice the belief just enough for you to still maintain yourself as a bodybuilder. At the same time, why did you switch? That was the switch. Why the switch?
Like I said, I didn't necessarily have like one of those epiphanies where I
Mhm.
was like, I have to do this. It was just kind of like a natural progression
Mhm.
for me that, once I started seeing these videos and like, it's like once you see like a yellow bug or like a beetle,
Mhm.
like driving down the street, you're like you see 10 more beetles. It's kind of those things like you have this like awareness of it afterwards, or
yes.
like say if you want to shop for a car and you
Yes.
want a brand new Camaro, and the next thing you know, like, oh, that's one of those Camaros. Like you see them a lot more. So it's the same thing that happened to me when it was coming towards veganism.
Yes.
I kept seeing the signs and seeing all these videos and posts about it, and I was like, I think it makes sense. Like I'm already there. I just
Mhm.
need to give up something that I don't really eat that much in
Mhm.
the first place. So I just went ahead and made that transition.
But in life, you have to give up something for something else. So you gave up something. What do you expect to get out of it?
I didn't know what I was going to get out of it.
That's crazy. Why
I
would you
didn't-
give it up?
Strictly from an ethical point of view.
There we go. So it comes back to value and character.
Yeah.
So your value and character got even more ingrained.
Yeah.
You're like, if I'm in it, I'm just gonna be in it.
It was my conscience more or less.
There we go.
It was my conscience. So
Yes.
I couldn't, I couldn't eat something in front of me and forget where it came from and
Yes.
forget the images that I saw.
So now you're even more aware of the food,
exactly
of what you're intaking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which I think a lot of people aren't aware of.
Yes.
They eat these things and they don't even think about where it comes from.
Yeah.
And that's something that you're putting into yourself, and your body is literally becoming what you eat. Everything you digest is converted into different nutrients and proteins and amino acids that your body converts into organs, into skin, into muscle. So you become what you eat.
Yep.
So it's like, for me, I would rather become something that's healthy, something that's living,
Mhm.
something that's like really, rich in nutrients and vitamins and everything, just to become healthier overall. But there's a disconnect there with a lot of people. So I think, like you said, I just became more aware than I already was.
Woken.
Awoken.
Is
Is that a word?
It is a word.
I said that the other day, and I felt like I sounded stupid.
No,
I was
no,
like, is awoken a word?
No, it's like the word monies.
Okay. Money's, I don't know if that's a word either. Is it?
Is it a word?
Yeah.
Yes. We're not here to make money. We're here to make monies.
Money's, plural.
Plural. Yeah, you awoken.
Yeah.
That's very interesting too. It's I'm super well entertained right now because like it's all such a internal combustion with you right now.
Yeah.
And now for you to say it out loud, it's kind of trippy.
It is.
When you
It
actually,
is.
because for us it's all instinct. When I'm running built, it's instinct. When I'm talking to you or when I reply to all a DM, it's instinct. There's some DMs you don't want to reply to. True.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because it's
I reply to
instinct.
5% of them, maybe less.
Because it's instinct.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
so this instinct got you so far. You got bodybuilding. You transition to veganism, like full time, and then now, why bodybuilding as a platform now?
So like I said, we'll set the stage a little bit. So I was in
Yes.
Bakersfield, right? And I started to see a little bit more gains.
Yes.
And actually, like, right as I transitioned into veganism, I decided that I wanted to do a bodybuilding show because merely by the suggestion of somebody else.
Okay.
Somebody was like,
Let's plug that person. Let's give that person some credit. Who was it?
his name was Ted.
Ted.
Ted, I don't know. I don't know his last name, but his name was Ted.
Ted, if you watch this, you just got plugged, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give credit where it's due.
Ted, thank you, bro. Thank you, man. So
Yes.
he was at the gym and he was
Yes.
doing a demo, and he saw me walk in. He was
Yes.
doing like a supplement demo.
Okay.
And he saw me walk in, and he was like, "Dude, I hadn't seen him in a while,
Mhm.
because me and him used to talk a lot
Yes.
about relationships and different stuff." And he was like, "Dude, you're looking good, man."
Yeah.
He's like, "You've been dieting?" I was like, "Yeah, I like tweaked my diet a little
Yeah.
bit, you know." And he was like, "You should do a bodybuilding show. There's one coming up in like 2 months.
Okay.
It's in Bakersfield. You don't even have to travel. Like, it's in Bakersfield." And he was like, "I know a coach. Like, he can help you with your diet or whatever." I was like, "Yeah, sure. Like, let's hook me up."
Yep.
So after that, I decided, I was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna do it. Like, I'm
Do
not
it.
doing anything else outside of work. Like, I'm a competitive person. Let's see if I can step on stage and step out of this comfort zone and see what happens. Let's just see what
Okay.
happens." So basically, I learned a lot in those 8 weeks because I had no idea how to structure a diet to cut down to become a bodybuilder. I had no idea. And luckily, the coach that I was working with, he had no idea about veganism. And he had no idea about vegetarianism either. So I kind of came to him with this dilemma and was like, "Look, dude, I want to do a show, but I want to do it without eating any chicken, any beef, any eggs, any whey protein. Like, what can you tell me?"
He's like, "You're fucking with me right
yeah,
now."
he's like, luckily he was a good dude, and he
Yeah,
was like,
yeah.
"I want to help you." He's like, "I don't
Yes.
really know how to help you." Like, a
Yes.
lot of coaches would have been like, "You're fucking stupid. You're
Yeah.
never gonna win."
Yeah.
And I heard it from a lot of people.
Oh, 100%.
I heard it from so many people.
Yes.
They're like, "You can't be a bodybuilder without
Yeah.
eating that stuff.
Yes.
You're never gonna succeed." But he wasn't one of those people, and you know, Mike Brown, if you're watching, what's up, man? Thanks a
Oh,
lot.
another plug, Mike
Yeah,
Brown.
thanks a lot for helping me out.
There we go.
But he gave me kind of a structure, right?
Okay.
So he was giving me the macros, and I was kind of doing my own. He was giving me like a very base diet
Yes.
and trying to make it work to what I was eating.
Yes.
But I had to find a lot of different resources and a lot of different articles and, you know, a lot of different nutritional articles that where I
Yes.
was learning how to
To fit
structure
these
a diet.
macros.
To
Like,
fit the macros.
If he goes, you need to eat 200 proteins a day, 200
Yeah.
grams a day. You're like, fuck, well, I'm gonna get it.
Yeah,
You have to do
exactly.
some homework.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So like I said,
Okay.
I'm a very I like to dissect things. So I was
Yes.
asking him these questions and then figuring out like, why do I need this much protein
Yes.
to grow?
Yes.
Why do I need this much protein to maintain what I already have?
Mhm.
What do I need to eat to, you know, shed fat and not shed muscle?
Yes.
And how to structure that with a workout routine and the best way to get lean in 8 weeks, right?
Mhm.
So there's a lot of researching done in those 8 weeks, a lot of applying, and a lot of basically like eliminating all the other variables. Like I was sticking to it, like I said, 100% to my diet. I was seeing what works, what didn't work. I was tracking what I ate, how much I ate, when I ate, what my weight was, what my body measurements were,
Wow, wow, wow.
all the way
wow.
down till show date.
Yes.
Right? So 8 weeks later, I step on stage. I'm terrified. This was
It was a terrifying moment too.
Oh
I
yeah,
remember that day.
yeah. It was an IMBA show.
Yeah.
So the
Oh, tell the
international-
audience what's the IMBA.
IMBA's. I think I think it's International Natural Bodybuilding Association.
Correct.
So it was a
Correct.
natural show. You got tested and everything.
Yes.
And I went on stage, and they did things a little bit different than the NPC. You
Correct.
could do like physique, or you could do classic physique poses.
Okay.
Even though you were in board shorts, I was in
Yeah.
the physique division.
Okay.
Wore board shorts. You go up there, you could do your double bicep
Yep,
poses and everything. Your back double bis. You know, your favorite bodybuilding pose.
Yep.
It was a really fun show actually, but wasn't that many people that showed up, and I ended up winning the whole thing. I ended up sweeping the entire men's division. So I entered the novice and then the open.
Yes.
And I won like my class in novice. I won the overall in novice. I won my class in open, and then won the overall for open.
Yep.
And then on top of that, they gave out other awards for like symmetry, stage presence, like all these different things. So I came home with like legit 6 or 7 trophies. I'll send you a picture of it. It's crazy. Like that me, I've
Mama,
never
I've
seen
made
so
it.
many. I needed to get a bag to walk out with the amount of trophies that I had. And they range from like these cool little trophies to like these plaques to like
Yes,
this
yes.
giant man.
Yes.
Like he's doing this.
Yep.
And I was like, I got addicted right after. I was like, I mean, who wouldn't? You know,
It's a
you-
good high.
It's
It's
a-
a high on success.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
yeah, and you know, like as I was doing this diet, I was kind of like, oh, this sucks. You know, like I can't eat what I want to eat. Like
Yes.
I'm like really struggling here, like mentally going through all these battles. Then the moment you step off stage, you're like, I want to do it again. You know, like I want to get on stage like immediately. But you know, there was another period where I had to grow more.
Yes.
Like the interesting thing that happened after that was people started asking me what I did to win. You know, Bakersfield's a pretty small town.
Yes.
It's filled with a lot of people that work out. They would see me in the gym and they'd be like, "Oh, you're the guy who won the Bakersfield show."
Yep.
Right? So like, what did you do to train? What did you eat? And I started telling them. As soon as I started telling them, they're like, "What?
You're fucking with me.
Yeah, like how the fuck did you do it without eating chicken?
Yes, yeah.
How did you do it? How did you
Yes.
do it without eating fish?
Yes,
You know?
yes.
And I was just like, just figure out a way, you
Yeah,
know?
yep.
And that's when I really saw the value in sharing what I did with people, is because people were generally interested in how somebody could win a bodybuilding show without eating those things. It's like, I don't know, winning a boxing match with your hands tied behind your back, right? And somehow you win. So people are really interested in it. So I started sharing it a little bit online. Like when I first started I didn't even use Instagram. I hated Instagram. I liked Facebook because I didn't understand the point of posting.
I love Facebook too, yeah. I didn't understand, yeah.
Yeah, but now it's the opposite. Now I hate Facebook and I love Instagram. So now all I do is post photos. But like back then I would just post like one photo of me with like, I don't know, at the gym.
Yes.
And then be like, no meat athlete or something
Yeah,
like that. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Just like very basic like advocism for plant-based nutrition, right? And veganism. So after that is when it really started picking up, and I decided to do another show. It was an NPC show because I decided if I was going to stay in the natural league, there wasn't much exposure. Like, tell me the last natural Mr. Physique Olympia.
No clue.
Yeah,
They don't spend enough money to market themselves.
They don't. So for me, it wasn't something like, oh, since I competed in the natural league, going over to the NPC, I had to take drugs or do anything like that. It was strictly for exposure.
Yes.
Because I wanted to be on stage with the guys that were winning and the guys that were getting exposure. Because I wanted to succeed in the league where I felt more comfortable in. Because I wanted to compete against the best, basically.
Yep.
Whether or not they were eating meat or taking drugs, it didn't matter to me.
Yep.
Because I felt like deep down I could compete with those guys.
Yep.
So that's when I switched over.
And we gotta take a
break.
pause. Alright, what was so interesting on the last one, I'm gonna recap this part too,
Yeah.
is you actually did a couple plug, but then you found a mentor, and your mentor was your first coach.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you actually found. Did you shop a couple coaches, or you just land on this one coach?
No, I didn't
Okay.
shop at all. He was a
Okay.
local guy.
He just said, I'll get it done.
Recommended, yeah.
But then the best part about this too, it goes back to your character. It's where he gives you a plan to meet your nutrients, your macros, and you're like, I'm just gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's the I'm gonna figure it out mentality. I'm not gonna bitch. I'm not gonna whine.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna figure it out. And you figured it out well.
Yeah.
And then now you're transitioning from a smaller platform. So right there, after you win your show, you're like, all right, I got traction.
Yeah.
I think I could go far.
Yeah.
Like that all clicked.
That was the validation that
What
I needed.
age?
25.
25.
Yeah.
See that, guys? 25.
Yeah.
You're never too old to do anything.
Yeah. That's 20.
So at 25 right now,
25.
because people think 25 is old now. I feel like 25, like me hitting 30, I feel like I'm 22.
Yeah.
Yeah, 25 is nothing.
30 is the new 22, right?
Because the internet like pulls us back so much younger.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, cool. So you wanted a bigger platform. You're going NPC. You know what you're going up against. You know your variables. You know that there's going to be a different set of obstacles. Go for it.
Yeah, so I knew I was going to go up against guys that were taking drugs, that were,
Yes.
in it for much longer than I was in it.
Yes.
But it didn't scare me because, like I said, I had this sense of confidence with who I am. And one of, I think, my best attributes is that I believe in myself more than anybody could ever believe in myself. And that's something that I wish everybody would practice, because if you do practice that, then you will have no fear.
So ready for this?
Yeah.
It's the biggest thing. What I try to do with you guys, Randy, I try to like exert my energy so they could consume it. But sometimes when it comes to self-awareness, I have to say something about myself. Did you think that self-awareness is taught, or it goes through time, or how do you think one could teach self-awareness?
I think it's practice.
Practice through
Experience.
what kind of experience?
Experiences that you doing things that you don't think you can do initially.
Awkward
right?
positions.
Awkward positions outside of your comfort zone, things that really force you to grow, right? That was one of the reasons I moved to California.
It was
because
awkward.
It was awkward. It was scary.
Yes.
You know, do the things that scare you, and that's where you're going to see the most growth. Because if you stay in your little comfort bubble zone, you're going to continue to be that person for the rest of your life. You're not going to change much. You're not going to learn.
Yes.
You know, you're not going to experience things that really force you to grow. It's like you're not going to grow naturally. I mean, you do, but at a very slow rate.
Yeah.
When you get out of your comfort zone and do things you don't want to do, you're forced to grow. It's sink or swim, right?
Yep.
That was one of the reasons I moved to California. I literally packed my Jeep up with whatever I could fit in my Jeep. I sold everything else, gave it away, moved to California, not knowing a single soul in California. Arrived in Bakersfield. I was like, all right, I'm gonna find a place to live. Like, I'm gonna go out and meet people. It's gonna force me outside of my normal routine, right? Same thing with bodybuilding. It was forcing me to go on stage shirtless and pose in front of an audience and be judged on it. That's scary. That's a super scary thing for a lot of people who have like body image. They're scared about what people think about them, and then hearing it is even scarier. You know, like having the thought of people think something about you is scary enough. But then like knowing that you're going to be told what they think about you is even scarier. You know, so that's where people really fail, is because they're too scared. So if you have this sense of self-awareness, this self-confidence in yourself that you can do anything and you can overcome anything, and no matter what life throws at you, you will be able to achieve your goals no matter what, then you really can do it.
Yes.
And that's something that a lot of people don't practice. But if you practice it, you will see the results, and that'll kind of reiterate or what's the word I'm looking for? It'll validate those feelings of self-confidence. So the same thing, me winning my first show, it validated everything for me. Like
all that pain.
Yeah.
All that frustrating days.
All the fear. It eliminated all fear. It eliminated all fear. I was like, I can do anything
You're
at this
limitless.
point. Yeah,
You
I can
unlock.
do anything. Yeah.
Yes.
So that was when the decision I made.
That's your unlocking move.
It was.
Yes.
It was. So that opened the door for me to say, I can take this as far as I want to go based off of what I just experienced. And that's when I said, like, I don't give a shit who I go up against. I feel like I have a chance. And as long as I feel like I have a chance, I can work as hard as I need to win. So that was when I did my second show. And that was, I don't know, 8 weeks later or 6 weeks later. I can't remember exactly how long it was. And I ended up winning that one. I ended up winning the next show, you know.
In the NPC now.
In the NPC. Then I won it in the NPC. And I was like, wow, here I am, you know, winning my second show against guys that I knew the competition was going to be much stiffer.
Yes.
And I kind of had these disadvantages, or, you know, by not eating meat and not taking, you know, drugs or anything like that. And I still ended up doing it. So I was like, that even validated everything.
Even more self-awareness.
Yeah, more for me. So after that first show, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go pro. And I made the decision. I didn't like put it out there like a lofty thing, like I want to go pro. I was like, I'm going to go pro. And the next thing was, I'm going to make it to Olympia. And that was like the process. It was like, first I'm gonna do a show. Did it. Then I was like, okay, I did my show. Now I'm gonna go pro. After that is like, okay, I'm pro. Now I'm gonna go to Olympia. It's like a series of like events that you can't experience, or you can't like kind of you can't recognize without the experience.
Yes.
Right. So that's why I tell people, like, get out there
and experience
life.
And
experience things. Yeah, experience things, because you never know where it can take you. And it leads back to what I was talking about. Like, I never in a million years thought I would be at this point in my life.
So when you won your first show, now I'm digging into the financial side of competing. These shows weren't cheap.
No.
Okay. And luckily enough for you to invest food, time, and money into these shows, like, you had a base, and your base was your consistent job.
Yes, engineering.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, my job, my career was facilitating everything I wanted to do for my bodybuilding career, or my passion, essentially,
nice.
right?
Nice.
But like I said, it's not always about money. It's about finding what you love and then doing that, and then later on down the road, making what you love, you know, make money for you. Or doing what you love make money for you.
Eventually,
with enough hard work and enough sacrifice.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. There's a big hard work and sacrifice in between those 2 points that a lot of people want to shorten however they can, but that's what deters people from following their goals all the way through, is because they hit that little speed bump and they're like, fuck it, I'm going back to what I know.
Yep.
you know, as
Yep.
opposed to following through
Yep.
and taking it on the chin and digging harder and working harder and sacrificing more to get to where they want to be.
So while you're competing, you have people approaching you about like, ooh, what's good, what's not. Well, how can I do this? When did it click for you to say that, hey, I actually could start monetizing on this information and build a business around me now?
Instantly.
Instantly. Okay.
Yeah, because I was seeing it enough on a small scale
Yes.
that I knew if I had a larger platform,
Yes.
it would be very financially, what's the right word? The financial part would come,
Okay.
you know, on a large scale as well.
Okay.
Because it was a direct correlation. Like every person that contacted me wanted a plan.
Yes.
And then the more followers I got, the more DMs I got.
Yes.
And the more shows I won, the more DMs I got. The more exposure I got,
Done.
the more DMs I got.
Done.
To the point where I started in coaching people initially.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just like, yeah, I'll take somebody on as a client and help them.
Yep.
And then it got to the point where it's like, there was too many people for the amount of time that I had.
Yes.
Because I was still working a full-time job.
Yes.
And there's not enough time in the day to write programs for all these people.
Correct.
So I ended up stopping. I stopped coaching altogether. And to this day, I don't coach anymore. I might coach some very selective clients just because I feel like they can go on to do great things and I want to help those types of people. But I stopped coaching just the general masses in general, like altogether.
Because you know your time is limited.
Yeah,
You
limited.
gotta because of your time and your training and your external business too. Interesting.
So luckily for me, like you said, I had enough of a financial base to where I wasn't depending on it. So I
Okay.
wasn't trying to, you know, put all my time out there to receive money. Like I genuinely like helping people, and I genuinely like sharing information.
Yes.
And I've found that what that did was built a relationship with the people who follow me, because I extend all of my knowledge to people for free. Like I don't ask for money.
What do you
in
think the
return.
percentage should be for paid service and free knowledge? Give me a percentage breakdown. I have my percentage.
I would say 20-80.
20/80?
Yeah, I'd say 20.
We're on the same
Yeah.
vibe, bro.
Yeah, okay, good.
Because you want to provide as much as you can because you want to have that conversation with them. It's like, because JP did this for me, I got this, and I didn't have to buy anything.
Yeah.
That's fucking rewarding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me and my boy.
Yeah.
Like now, you know what? I'll invest in him afterwards. Like, if he's giving me this much quality information right now,
Yes.
imagine when he actually like asked for money for.
And so
you know.
the craziest part is you knew the patience game too.
Yeah. Well, luckily I did my work on the front end, being an engineer.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So
you
like I
didn't have to
said,
do any small gig that makes you look like you're a snake.
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't trying to extort people. I wasn't trying to get their money from them. I wasn't accepting every sponsorship that came my way because if I don't believe in something, it goes back down to value, right?
It goes back to value and character.
Value and character. If I don't
doesn't
believe
beat
in
it.
something, I don't care how much it's going to pay me, I'm
Yeah.
not going to do it. Because at the end of the day, it's my reputation on the line.
Yes.
And the people who follow me and who look up to me, if they see me kind of selling myself out to whoever, then what does that say about me? You know, what does that say to them? What message does it show to them?
I'm gonna dig deep into that.
Okay.
Right after this break.
Okay.
So just a quick recap. If you guys missed this nugget, the last nugget that we talked about was we actually we're just chopping up on this subject for a while. Through pain and the unknown, you actually unlock more of yourself.
Definitely.
And through comfort, you still would grow. You said this. You still would grow through comfort, but you wouldn't want to. You would not even get close to your potential. That Nimai that you want.
Yeah.
And I'm a true believer on that one too. Like I even told Randy, like every day you should try to take a cold shower, just to get that awkward feeling into you. Now the whole day is stress free because you already felt awkward in the morning. Or like if you lift in the morning and you're getting crushed by 185 pounds, the whole day feels light.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that awkward,
Yeah.
painful start to the day.
That's a good idea.
You're just cruising through the day.
Yeah.
But now we're diving into. You took an approach to where we have the same profile: 80% give, 20% ask. Right? Give, ask 20% when it's needed. And at the same time, getting into this market that you're not going to do rational short-term transactions, which is going to depreciate the value and the character that you're trying to build in for this market. Because sometimes, most of the time, people get into this market and they're expecting riches, which will come.
Yeah.
Very fast.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's gonna fade very fast.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I think some people get into this industry for the wrong reason altogether.
Yes.
Right? So the importance of knowing your why should always be on your mind with every single decision that you make.
So when
Right.
when did it click to you that you're like, this is gonna be a long game?
Um,
Because I know how long your game is gonna be because we already chopped it up.
Yeah.
But when did you click? You're like, boom, boom, boom. When I'm gonna go for the long game.
I think it was after my first show.
Shut the fuck up,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
Like your self-awareness that high. You're like,
I connect the dots very quickly.
That's
right?
impressive.
And like I said, with being able to connect the dots, being
Yes.
able to be self-aware,
Yes.
and having that self-confidence, it's kind of like I saw the light at the end of the tunnel
Yes.
immediately. Right, as soon as I stepped off stage, I saw the light in the direction that I wanted to go. So
but it makes sense. You found something that's gonna make you happy.
Yeah.
It's actually your meditation. It's actually your escapism. It's a platform where you're gonna have reach,
yeah,
and you know it's gonna make money.
yeah,
So yeah, the 5 dots are pretty, like there.
yeah.
But when
It's
you
just a
said
way
that-
of connecting them, right? It's a way.
But
of
on the
connecting.
first show, yeah,
Yeah.
got
Well,
it.
like I
got
said, it all boils down to self-confidence,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes.
So, yeah, like I mean, like I said, you have to know, like I'm not in this for money, but it's just like anything else. If you're good at something,
No, he's in this for money, but he knows the money's gonna come later.
yeah. I know that I can make a career out of this
There we
if
go.
approached the right way,
Yes.
right?
There we go.
So I understood the value of giving people free information because it's like a masseuse at the mall giving you a 5-minute massage.
the samples at Costco.
Yeah.
Oh, those
It's
guys
like they
get
come
me.
and rub your shoulders for like 5 minutes, and they're like, that felt so
Yeah,
good.
good.
They're like, well, you know, if you only pay me $40, you get a whole hour. You're like, here, take my money.
Yes,
Take my
yes.
money, right?
Yes.
So it's the same concept, but like I said, I truly do enjoy helping people. Like
Yes.
I want everybody I come across to unlock their potential
Yes.
because I felt like I've learned the tools to unlock mine at a very young age.
Yes.
So I have a different perspective on life in general
Yes.
that not many people have because they've been so focused on what everybody else is telling them to do that they forget to ask themselves what they should do.
100%.
Right.
I truly feel like it too. You know what's the craziest part? When I started Bill, I knew I was gonna make money with Bill. I just
Yeah.
didn't care when.
Yeah.
I just want to get here and connect the dots.
Yeah.
And once you connect the dots, everything kind of trickles in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it trickles in a lot quicker when you surround yourself with the right people.
Yes.
Right? Like we
Because you're
talked
trying to
about.
provide them value.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. And people want to help good people.
Yes.
And people want to help people that are helping other people.
Yes.
Because it just elevates everybody's existence. Because if you could help this one person who goes on to help 100 people, and one of those 100 people goes on to help 1,000 people, it's a Christmas tree effect.
Of help.
Of help.
Yeah.
Right?
Not of siphoning growth and taking your money. Of help.
Help.
Yeah.
100%.
Hashtag help.
Help.
and that concept. Oh wow, such a simple concept, but yes, it. Have you ever bought a coffee for somebody behind you at Starbucks?
No.
Oh,
I don't think so.
It's actually a real effect. So I went to this one Starbucks, right, local, and then I got my Starbucks, and then I was about to pay. She goes, "Somebody already paid for your coffee today." I was like, "Shut up."
Mm-hmm.
She goes, "Yeah, somebody did." I walked away and I was in awe. I was like, "Wow, like somebody did this." 2 days later, I bought my coffee and I was like, "I'm gonna buy hers too."
Uh-huh.
And it's a trickled effect too.
Yeah.
Like kindness spreads.
Yeah, it does. It does.
So-
And that's the thing. Is it, in your case, it costs like $2 to be kind.
Yeah.
But being kind doesn't cost anything. Even giving a compliment
Yeah.
to somebody doesn't cost anything.
Yeah.
Even giving somebody tips at the gym doesn't cost anything. Even
Yep.
giving tips online doesn't cost you anything.
Nope.
But it creates so much value in somebody else's life that you might not even be aware of it.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
I may have touched 1 million people's lives that I have no idea. I'll
Yes.
never know.
Yep.
I'll never know.
Yep.
But
But you feel damn good about it.
I feel good. I know somewhere out there somebody's getting something out there.
Yes.
Something from what I'm saying and what I'm sharing. I know it's not going, unused,
Yeah.
which makes me feel good.
Exciting. And guess what? It's gonna relate back to Nimai. If they ask where'd you get this, it's gonna relate. It's gonna
Yeah.
relate.
Yeah.
It's gonna trickle down back to the main point. So, damn, we deviated so hard. I forgot to even go. All right, so we deviated really
We
hard,
did,
right?
we did.
We dug deep into the business. We
Yeah.
dug deep into why the money is important, but at the same time, why you should take time to accumulate this money. So now, amateur show done, first place.
Yep.
Now, a couple more shows into the pro, or
Yeah,
what
I think I
happened?
did 2 more shows.
Okay.
I don't remember, maybe 2 or 3 more shows.
Okay.
At an amateur level.
Okay.
And some of those, I got a couple second places in there.
Yes.
But like you said, you know, sometimes there's nothing else you can do.
I'm gonna map this out. Ready for this? It'll
Yeah.
be it's first.
Yeah.
And then amateur is gonna be first. So this is NPC.
Yeah.
All right. Then what's the show after?
After the first NPC show was, I think, San Jose.
Okay.
And then after that was another one in Culver City.
Okay. So San Jose first, second. What is it?
San Jose, I got second.
Second. Okay.
Second. Coming off of a big high from winning my overall.
Yep.
And then after that,
Another
I got
NPC.
another NPC. I got second place.
Okay.
And a week later,
Yes.
I won another overall.
Okay. Another NPC.
No, NPC overall. And
First.
then after that, I decided to go to get my pro card. And
Okay.
then I got my pro card. And that
First
was
try.
first try.
Ooh.
At the biggest show of the year in
USA?
Las Vegas at USA.
Wait, Junior USA.
No, USA's.
The USA
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
Wow.
So after that, I felt untouchable.
Yeah.
You know, like I felt like I got a real shot at
Yes.
taking this wherever I want. And it wasn't, honestly, those second places mean more to me than the first places. Really. Because I will never forget the feeling of, it's a different feeling getting first call-outs
Yes.
every single show you've ever done.
Yeah.
And then going to a show with such confidence and such, assurance that you were going to get first place, and then hearing your name get called right before first place and getting second place or getting third place, anybody out there who thought for sure that they had this show unlocked,
Yeah.
and then being humbled by the judges,
Yep.
right? And I let it go immediately. I let it go from the moment I heard my name to me standing in front of the second place trophy. I let it go because I just knew deep down that complaining wasn't going to get me anywhere. The only thing that was going to get me from second place to center stage was working harder the next time. So the next show, I worked harder.
Yes.
I worked even harder, and I busted my ass even more, and I stuck to my diet even more, and I still got second place. But it made me feel a little bit better
But
because
that's
the guy.
life in a nutshell, and I fucking love it.
Yeah.
That's life right there.
I think sometimes when you're given something, you don't understand the true value of it.
Yes.
Right? If you're
Yeah.
always winning,
Yep.
like, you don't really appreciate winning
Yep.
as much as you could.
Yep.
So the second time I got second place was, what show was it? Are we good? We're good? Okay, yeah.
Second, and then first.
Yeah, so the second time I got second place, I was, feeling confident again. I was like,
Yeah.
I worked even harder this time.
Yep.
I'm going to win another overall. And I got second place in my class again. But the guy who won ended up going on to win the whole overall and won like 4 overalls, since then. And
Yeah.
then went on to win his pro card in the overalls. I was like, all right, I'll take that one.
I didn't
Sometimes-
lose to like a nobody.
Yeah, sometimes, guys are just genetically gifted. They
Yes.
look incredible. There's
Yes.
nothing you can do about
Yep.
who shows up that day.
Just timing.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a complete crapshoot of who wins
Yep.
most of the time, right? But the one thing, you can't control that. You can't control it at all.
Yep.
The one thing you can control is how hard you work, though.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's one controllable measure that you can always, put 100% of your effort to and focus on is what you can control.
Nice.
So after the second place, I was like, it is what it is. I have to take it on the chin and accept that there's going to be guys out there that always look better than me, always going to be bigger than me and everything else, but I can't worry about that. The only thing I can worry about is myself and what I can do. So I applied that to my next show and ended up taking first place in my class at USA's and got my pro card.
We're going to take a break, and we're going to wrap it up in the last 10 minutes, guys. That's it. You guys sad? I'm pretty sad now. All right, guys, last 10 minutes. So, Nimai, we're going to actually fast forward one more time to your current situation.
Yeah.
So your current situation, you're a competitor, but at the same time, you have a huge to-do list, which is to get into the Olympia stage.
Yes.
Because?
The Olympia stage is more of another means goal.
There we go.
Right?
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily have the expectation to go on stage and win Olympia. I know there's a lot that goes into winning Olympia. And I don't necessarily know if that's the right route for me. Honestly, I know the right route for me is to get on the stage, to use it as a platform for my message.
Yes.
Right? Because
Yes.
once I can say I'm an Olympian, then it kind of shuts all doubt down that
Yes.
a vegan can go and make it to Olympia.
Yes.
Never eaten meat. You know what I mean? It's like it'll shut a lot of haters up.
Yes.
Right? It'll create a lot of new haters. Which
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but
For sure, they're gonna ask for like your blood test, your family record, your last name.
I've heard it all.
Yeah.
But the thing about haters is that, you're gonna get a lot of them if you're doing something new.
Yes.
You're gonna get a lot of them if people don't understand you.
Yes.
So it's natural, and I've learned to just kind of brush them aside altogether.
Yeah.
And use them more. They're like little. Every time I see a hater on Instagram or a picture or a DM, like people get very personal with their hate.
Yes.
It's like a little snippet of motivation for me. It's really cool. So
it's how you convert the energy.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a direct conversion, right? So I'm like, thank you, Bobby from Iowa, 16, and whatever. I'm like, thank you for my motivation today, because it's like a constant reminder that I need to get to where I want to be.
But you know what's the craziest part? And within this podcast, if that Bobby 16 from Iowa sees us and he actually understands the context that you're building around this framework, he'll be like, next time I'll be more cautious before I send out a DM to somebody within the same manner. Yeah. And that's the stuff we're building here, is that context.
Exactly.
Because they probably look at you, it's like, lucky, dude, blue eyes, nice hair, good looking dude, buff, he's doing something wrong. You know what I mean? But so now Olympia, you're going to be using Olympia as a platform to spread your value.
Exactly.
And this mission statement.
Exactly. So basically, I mean, think about it. You never heard of a vegan going up on stage and competing against the top bodybuilders in the world.
After I met you, I believe it.
Yeah, well, it's going to open a lot of eyes.
Yes.
Right? It's going to open a lot of people's minds to the concept and the idea of it. And there's so many other things that are, coming out nowadays. It's becoming more normalized altogether. But for me personally, it's my personal goal to help spread this message and to help more people and to kind of be that icon that, somebody in high school who's thinking about it, but too scared to because of what his friends might say, or what.
And then they have you as a reference.
Yeah, and just say, hey, this guy did it.
Yes.
Like, that guy. All it takes is one person to change the world.
Yes.
I think a lot of people underestimate that. There's so many icons throughout history that we can name. There's just one person who had an idea and an undying passion that they changed the world. So I'm not saying I'm comparing myself to those people at all, but all I'm saying is that it only takes one person.
No, it's true. The Olympics. The fastest, I think, sprinting record was X amount of seconds.
Yeah.
It wasn't broken for like 10 plus years.
Yeah.
There's one dude broke it, and
then
guess what happened
after
to the year?
that,
There was like 10 more breaking records.
Yeah, you're just setting that bar a little higher.
Yeah.
You're setting that bar a little higher each time. So that's what I'm trying to do, is just set the bar a little bit higher.
Yes. So what else is in the work? What can the audience expect from you within the next 6 to 12 months? Because we're probably going to do a recap, of course, because 2008, I feel like 2017 was an amazing year. 2018 is going to be like a mind-blowing year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think...
So what can they expect from Nimai?
Yeah, I think 2017 was a year of, self-discovery and finding my purpose and eliminating a lot of things that weren't creating more value in my life, whether it be relationships or whether it be situations or circumstances. So I learned how to get rid of those and start off fresh and, with my mind focused. So the first thing that I want to do is, I realize I can't help a person by person on an individual basis, but I can help the masses. And that's something that social media is really good at, is helping masses. So what I wanted to do next was create a scalable website, where anybody could come to, anybody from around the world, not just America, but around the world, and learn about plant-based nutrition, about vegan fitness, about everything just health related, not just physically, but spiritually and mentally as well. So I decided to open up a website, and I got the domain name. It's called veganfitness.com, and it will be a centralized hub for, like I said, all things vegan related. It's going to be meal planning, it's going to be fitness programs, it's going to have yoga tips and routines and everything else. It's going to have medical doctors, clearing up any kind of myths or concerns about plant-based nutrition and how to optimally eat everything you need to get your full daily recommended intakes for every single micronutrient, macronutrient, everything. So it's going to be a very big tool to help not only individuals but the world. So that's going to come out hopefully 2017 and then just grow from that point on.
There we go. So that's the first thing we get. What's the second thing we get?
Second thing is going to be speaking more. So I want to do a lot more speaking engagements where
Okay.
I travel the world and I talk to audiences. I share a little bit more about my story, my upbringing, and help motivate people, because I don't think there's anything more fulfilling than motivating somebody or planting a seed in somebody's head to inspire them. And inspiration can go a very long way. So if I can help inspire somebody to change their life in a positive way, then that will be, a complete fulfillment for me.
I agree. No, I agree. Now it's the giving back part.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then what's the third part?
Third part would be Olympia.
Yeah.
Definitely Olympia next year. I think that I'm really going to focus on trying to make it to the stage. It's getting harder and harder every year.
Guys are
These
getting
they're
so technical. Like a C-bum? Remember?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean,
Canadian dude coming out of nowhere that
some
looks
guys
like
just
crazy.
don't look human at this point.
Crazy.
But, I like I said, you can't control that. The only
Yeah.
thing you control is
Hard
how
work.
you work.
Yes.
And that's what I plan on doing. I plan on busting my ass for the next year and making it to that stage in 2018.
Thank you. All right, guys, I'm going to do a quick recap on Nimai, actually. The way he got here was actually through value, character, gratitude, self-awareness, figuring shit out by himself, unlocking himself through fear, pain, and the unknown. And at the same time, you're a goal digger yourself too. Mm-hmm. You set a goal, you finish, you move on, which is huge, because people, they set a goal and then they don't put a due date on it.
Yeah.
And it becomes very passive, and then it gets diluted down to maybe someday, when it should have been 4 weeks from now.
Yeah.
So respect.
Yeah.
And thank you for your time.
Of course.
Hopefully you enjoy this.
I did. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And thanks everybody out there for watching.
Yes.
Hope you guys learned something from our conversation today.
Yeah.
And just try to apply it in your daily life. That's all it takes is action.
Yeah. And share it to a friend that actually needs to listen to this.
Yeah.
Everybody has a friend that needs to listen to this.
Exactly.